G'day viewers, in today's video I'm going to be modifying my Highbanker. There's still a lot of modifications that need doing, but I'll be doing some of it today. I've made a video a long time ago using my homemade Highbanker, and I had a frame set up with legs on it, homemade. It wasn't really the best. I didn't have very good materials to work with at the time, and I did away with it. And I saw on a website for reeds prospecting, the other day, and they sold legs and the brackets and the bolts, everything you need for Highbankers, and I thought, oh, that's awesome, that'd be perfect for what I need. So I went there to get some bits and pieces we need, because we're going away prospecting soon, and while I was there I grabbed some of the legs. Now these are the legs. They're aluminium, so they're lightweight, never going to rust, and it came with the brackets. So these are the U brackets that would bolt onto the side of the Highbanker. The legs slide into these parts here. There's a backing plate as well, and it also came with, if I can find it, somewhere in here, it is, the nuts and bolts. So everything you need. It's even got the screw thing to tighten the legs up. Now when I tried to do this, when I made my own shelf, I had no way of bending steel into a U bracket, so I had to use square tubing that was slightly larger than the diameter of the legs, so that they could slide up and down. Then I drilled a hole and I welded a nut on there. Then I had to find something to make the screw part, so I got a bolt that goes into the nut, and then I welded something onto the bolt to use as a handle. It was just really wasn't all that good. When you think of this here, it's all ready to go. The proper screwing thing with a nice soft grip handle, plastic, whereas the metal one I had was hard. It's got these nuts here that have got a flange on them, and they're really good, they don't come loose. Rounded heads, so they're not going to protrude into the box very much. And yeah, I'm really happy with this kit. It's going to save me so much time, and it's going to look so much better. So now I'll show you what else I got. I bought my girlfriend some knee pads. These are really soft, nice and soft and spongy. I've already got a pair myself. I've got some rubber ones. I've got some gaiters for myself. These are blue camo. I like blue, it's my favourite colour. So this part goes on the foot, and then it bends up and goes up the shin. It's like little hard plastic, different sheets of plastic that wrap around your leg. So that's mine, and I've got my girlfriend a pair too. Hers are just normal green. They didn't have any pink camo or anything. They're going to order some in, but they didn't have any, so we just settled for the plain green for her. And I also managed to get a handful of some, I might have slipped my mind at the moment, I'll think of it in a second, capels. So I've got a handful of capels and about 20 of these clay crucibles. So that's going to come in handy. They'll be used for sure in upcoming videos. And something else that I needed, which I never had, was some little trays to put on my scales when I'm weighing things. And I was pretty happy with that. There's 4 in a packet for like 20 bucks or something, which is a bargain. There was a different packet, and they, instead of being black, they were the steel colour. Well, there was only 3, and this has got 4, and these are so light it feels like it's an empty box. So I think the gold should stand out nicely against the black. Maybe not so much when I'm doing gold powder, it might be a bit hard to see, but nuggets should look good on these. So that's these things here. Now let's go outside now and start putting these legs on. Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen the video where I tested it, this is my Highbanker, and I've stripped it back to bare bones because it wasn't working. This here adjusts, and I need somehow to make a thing on the bottom of the hopper here to rest on there, and the idea is that I can set obviously the height that I want the hopper to be at, if you look at it from that angle. And let's cut some miner's moss to go in here. I've also got some small, I've got some punch plate with tiny little holes in it, and I want to put across the top of the miner's mat, and all the dirt gets shoveled in here. The water and sand and mud goes down there, and the rocks slide off. So that part's pretty self-explanatory. I just need to put some things in the bottom here so I can get different heights. And I've got this piece of plate here which is bent, and what that does is it forces the water to go into the hopper, into the sluice, instead of out the back. If there was no plate there, it would just go straight out. So whichever angle I put this on, that just helps to push the water in to the sluice box. So this is a work in progress. I know it looks really crappy right now, and trial and error. Some things will work, some things won't. This is the diffuser, which will make the water flow out at an even rate. And the way it's been stored, it was all kinked up, so I'm waiting for the sun to get onto it and warm it up. This is just a doormat I picked up from the hardware store. I'm hoping that any small gold will get caught up the front here, or even in the hopper, but any chunks, nuggets that go past, hopefully will fall into those holes there, and any small gold that makes it past this stage here. I can't afford a proper Highbanker. I don't have thousands of dollars for a proper one, and I can't even afford the Miracle Mat, so this is my version of Miracle Mat, and I can't see why it won't work. And I'm going to put some miner's moss under here with this punch plate. I don't know how well you can see that. I'll put it in the sunlight so you can see it better. So it's just an offcut that I've got, and I'm going to cut it to size. Try and cut a piece probably lengthways like this to fit in the sluice box. So I have some miner's moss in here under the diffuser with that punch plate on top of it. So it's slightly bigger holes in this punch plate than the one that I want to put in the top. Now I know I've got a nice piece of stainless steel punch plate somewhere and I can't find it. I'm looking everywhere for it. And then I may not need any more, but in the next step, if the water flow is enough, which is one thing I'm yet to find out, I've also got some riffles which I made, and that fits in here. Gotta go past the nut and bolt holding this on. So I'll probably have to take it back a bit. Like I said, this is a work in progress. Like that, the riffles, and this is rusty now, but it shouldn't matter. Some expanded metal to go across like that. I don't think gold cares if it's rusty or not. It'll still work, but I may not have enough water flow to even bother with that. I may just do it without the riffles and the mesh. See how that goes. The problem I had before, my pump is a 1500 gallon per hour pump, and the outlet of the pump is a 50 millimeter hole, and I had, for whatever stupid reason, this connected to it, so it's a 50 millimeter. I reduced it to 40 mil, so I was only running 40 mil pipe, which, you know, that 10 mil is a lot when you're thinking it has 10 mils less capacity of water that could flow through the piping. So when it got to the Highbanker, it was just drizzling out, it wasn't pumping enough. So I've got there two new pieces of pipe, they're 50 mil, and I'm going to make the wash bar, the wash spray bars with that. And then from that reducer for the 40 mil, I had skinny hosing running from that all the way to the Highbanker, and I think that hosing was 40 mil, or it might have even been smaller. I think it might have been 30 mil. Just from memory, it fitted in here and not on the outside. I can't remember for sure, but I think it fitted in there, which makes it even smaller still. So what I've got now, I'll show you in the next part of the video, is a brand new section of pipe I bought that's 50 mil diameter. So it's going to be a mission working out how I'm going to install all this piping and hosing that's all 50 mil. There's going to have to be adapters somewhere, and I don't want to reduce the diameter. I'm going to have to find a larger diameter to join them together somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It'll be trial and error, muck around with it and see what I can do. But that's for the next stage of the video. So for right now, in this stage of modifying this Highbanker, I'm going to be putting the legs on. Now, the brackets, the way the brackets work is you've got this first one here. What that does is it goes underneath and on the side like that, and that supports the weight of the Highbanker, and it also gives you the holes, where to drill the holes. But that's important because I need the holes all the way around to be drilled in exactly the same place, so that the legs will be all the same. They don't have to be a certain leg for a certain bracket. If they're all drilled in exactly the same spot, I can just grab any leg, doesn't matter which one, put them in a bracket, tighten them up. And what I plan on doing is using the Sharpie I've got there, the permanent marker, to mark a ring around the legs at the top of the bracket, so that I want to get this set the right pitch, make sure it's level, and once it's all level and at the right pitch, then I'll put the line around the legs. So every time I set this up, I can just put the legs on, put the line at a certain spot, knowing that it's going to be set, level, everything. Now this is the bracket, which then goes on here like so, for the leg to go into. And you can see on the sides of the bracket it's adjustable, so you can swivel it left to right to make up for the angle that you're on. So what I've got to do now is tip the Highbanker on its side, put those brackets in place, front and back, where I'm going to put them, mark the holes and drill them, and get to that point, and then I'll show you the rest. So the holes at the front are easy to replicate because I'll just put it up against the edge, so I can do the same on the other side. But the ones at the back I put here, so it's out the way of all this here as well as that, and to make sure that this is in exactly the same spot. On the other side, I'm going to measure the distance where the hole starts to the back, so I can get that exact measurement on the other side for my first hole. Once I put the first hole on, then I'll put the bracket on, and I'll know where to drill the second hole. Once I've done all the holes, I can put the brackets on. Okay, so I got that bracket on, and that bracket on, and on the other side as well. So now I get to turn over and put the legs on. So you may know that this bolt here to hold the mat and everything down. I did have a piece of steel about so long, aluminium, which goes on, but I don't know where it's gone. I'll have to cut a new piece. Okay, so I can't put the legs on here and get that level right because it's all uneven. I'm going to have to clear a spot on the paving into the carport. I'll do that now. I'll get it all sorted, put the legs on, and then we'll start measuring. Alrighty, looking good now. So the legs are on, and I haven't yet done up any of the bolts because we're going to need to swivel it to get it right. And I haven't done these up very tight, just enough to hold it for now, because I need to get the pitch up and down right. I need to make sure it's level that way, get the right pitch that way, and once I've done that, then it'll be ready to set. Now, I've seen quite a few videos on how to set up high bankers and so on, and everybody's got a different opinion of the slope that is needed. What I've understood so far is a good starting point is 7 degrees. I think because it's adjustable, if I set it at 7 and I find the water's running too fast, I can always raise the front up and or the back down. If it's not running fast enough, I can always lower it. That's the good thing about these adjustable legs. But a medium starting point, I'm going to set it at 7 degrees slope on that angle. I'll show you when I do that anyway. So now I need to clear a spot on the paving, move this onto there, and make sure it's level and get it set. So there's my bilge pump. I've got a whole pile of heavy lead sinkers, so that when I throw this into the creek, I know it's going to sink and not float downstream if the water's running fast. That's pretty heavy with those sinkers in there. And they're quite hefty sinkers. And drilled holes in the bucket to allow water to come in, hopefully not dirt and leaves and rocks and stuff. And you can see there's the 50mm outlet. And I've got a very long cable so that, you know, I might not be able to put the high banker right near the creek, but I can still get power, still get water to the high banker. These are going to need to be replaced. They've seen better days, and I've got lots of these inside, so that's not a problem. So here's my spirit level, which I use to measure whether or not it's level, side to side. So I'll go over now and measure it. Alright, so I've got my spirit level, and that's as close to good as it's going to get. I could get better, but that's perfect, it's fine. And I've checked it at the back, and it's also level at the back. And as for the slope, I've got my protractor on my phone, and that's pretty close to 7 degrees. it's a good starting point. So now I can go around and tighten up all the bolts, and with the Sharpie put a mark around the legs at the top here. So every time I set it up, I know to put the mark there. I'll put back, so I know it's for the back legs, because they stick through not as much as the front. They stick up a lot. So I'll put back and then a circle around there, and same for the front. I'll write front down here and put a circle around the leg, and then we're set. There's the coil of black hose. That's one of them. I've got another length in the shed, so I think that's 20 meters or 50 meters, I can't remember. So either way, the idea is that no matter how far I can get from the water, if I can't set up near the water, I still want to be able to run it. So, but I'm assuming just one length will be fine for most times. Okay, so I'm going to tighten these all up now, and that's it for now. I'll do the wash spray bars another day. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing the finished product soon. Bye.